This video will explain how to run an influencer marketing test campaign. If you're a beginner to influencer marketing and you've never hired influencers before, I'm going to show you how to find low-risk influencers. Here in our dashboard, we've worked with few. Now, they were starting out with influencer marketing. They wanted to try something out. Their initial budget was $17,000, and for that, we found them 3 creators, each costing $6,000. Now, for a lot of you, this may sound expensive. However, the results were 1.9 million views from these 400 conversions, from this $51,600 in sales, and a ROAS of 3.04x. And these two, by the way, are approximated, I believe, to the nearest dozen. Now, looking into how did we find these 3 influencers that brought these results. And if you want to take them, you can also do a sponsorship with them. The 3 influencers were Many Kudos. He brought in a tremendous amount of views, then Modern Makeovers, then Binkoff's Battlegrounds. Many Kudos cost more, not by a ton. However, you'll never know how many views your videos will get when you sponsor an influencer. All that you can do is look at the right metrics, which will give you the best possible chance of getting a high performer. So what did we look at? Well, in our dashboard, we looked at a couple of metrics. And you don't have access to this dashboard. It's an internal tool. However, you can always go through tools like Modash, Upfluence, or you can find the data online and then just put it into a database, right? There's so many tools nowadays which will allow you to do this. And I have a video on how to do that. Just comment down below database and I'll send it. But what we've got over here is engagement rate. This should never be used as a standalone measure. If you use it as a standalone measure, a lot of the time it's going to give you some people which have completely bought their views, subscribers, like counts, comment counts. All 4 of those things can be bought nowadays and for just a couple $100. Instead, you want to pair this, right? 75% of the time it'll be really good with what is their evergreen score, which we've got over here. What is their average views? How many times have they uploaded? And what percent of their comments seem to be like their bots? You can see here, the evergreen score just measures how timeless is their topic. If they have a low score, that means their videos get a lot of views once, and then it dwindles down. Instead, if you sponsor a creator who creates timeless content, views will go up, and they'll keep going up. That's because YouTube is a search engine. People are always searching for YouTube content. Now, the average views, very important, because you may have some spikes. Their videos, their viral videos might have 100 times more views than the average. You need to imagine you'll get the average because statistically, that is the most probable thing to happen, especially if you have a in-video integration, not a standalone video. And we don't recommend those, by the way, the standalone integrations. Now, what you can do to find who in the comment section appears to be a bot is as follows. You take the comment section, you put it into ChatGPT, and you ask it this one question. What percentage of comments are statements or questions about the video or product? Now, if you do this, and there's a lot of questions, over 20%, that means it's a high quality influencer. If you notice questions are below 20%, that can mean one of 2 things. They're a pure entertainment influencer. Lots of people are making statements. They're not trying to learn, right? You learn through asking questions. Or number 2, they just bought a lot of engagement and a lot of bots are not watching the video. They're not asking questions about the video. They're just making random statements, right? Because they replicate the same thing in each video. So after looking at these couple of metrics, we found these 3 influencers who were macro influencers. Binkoff's Battleground had almost 1 million subscribers at the time of recording. Modern Makeovers had 355,000, Many Kudos 349,000. And now what we did next is we looked at what were their past sponsorships. Now you could just do this manually by clicking the video, opening up the transcript, and pasting that into ChatGPT and asking it what time is the transcript. But we developed a feature which allows us to see when and why and who sponsored this influencer. So we can see Wings of Heroes sponsored Binkoff's Battlegrounds, Plod sponsored Binkoff's Battlegrounds, Proton VPN Extra sponsored multiple times, And here we can see the average views and the views per video, right? It's more or less hovering around the average. As some are overperforming, like this company that sponsored them a second time. And that's already an amazing sign. And here we have another sign. We have a duplicate sponsorship. Perfect. Now, the reason we really like this is a duplicate sponsorship, and there's a couple of triple and quadruple sponsorships from the same company to the same influencer, typically indicates the influencer brought a result to the company. And that's why the company sponsored them again. This should be a key measure that you look at. And when you see a lot of these recurring partnerships, that's a sign that the influencer is really good. Companies keep sponsoring them, and you should value them more than if they don't have that. And here we've got a bunch of sponsorships for Modern Makeovers, Foreo, Heyday, FlexiSpot sponsored them multiple times, as you can see. Now from here, what we did is we have, for many kudos, we just put them into this table, right? All of this, like I said, you don't need a database like this or a tool. You can just go through, and it'll take a little bit longer, maybe 2 or 3 times longer, but you can just go through, copy paste their information on either YouTube or Instagram, and then ask it the questions accordingly, right? If you have a bunch of transcripts, YouTube gives you these transcripts. They have that button. And here we even have repeat brand rate was over 43%, which is fantastic. That means there were over 43% of the companies out of the 10 that sponsored them this year repeatedly sponsored them, right? For more than 2 brand deals. That's exactly what we're looking for. And the average views per sponsor was 503,000. So many kudos. Had an absolutely phenomenal job. This is a video we got 1.3 million views on. Now, if you want to actually get, so we found the influencers. These are really good influencers. You want to actually find more influencers than just 3, because if you find 10, you're going to narrow it down to 5, then narrow it down to 3, right? Now, a good way to get discounts of up to 40 to 70% is by using gifting, PR boxes, building relationships, and maintaining relationships. And that's like even commenting on when their birthday is, giving them a message. And that could take the form of sending them a message when it's their birthday, when there's a holiday, keeping connection. And I explain how to do that from A to Z in this video over here. So to sum up, what you're going to do is start by looking at their metrics. Then you're going to look at their past partnerships. Then you're going to build this connection. It's going to let you get those discounts, make it an even cheaper, low risk test that you can run. And then all that's left to do is sponsor them and evaluate. Now, remember, you always want to use a hybrid model. They've got a video explaining that over here on how you can do that negotiation strategy I mentioned, which gets you those really big discounts, and how you can successfully implement a hybrid model.